you know, psyops are really much implemented for me to look at these people in order to make them to try to make me subscribe to this. I see them for the fraud that they are, right? I think at this point, the validation I have that they do these disturbing things is just too obvious. It's too obvious. Even in my state of retardation that they force me to experience, this is what I have to experience too. That's why you hear these children that, like I said, like Rob Duncan said, they do these things where they try to disorient you and force you to experience these nasty things. So you see this picture there? You hear this picture? Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. There is kids outside making noise campaign, which is the norm, right? They do this pedophilia type of torture. They utilize even children to be involved in that, which is so sad. It's pathetic. I feel sad for these kids, but kids are gonna be kids. But see these people. See these people. Those are my quote unquote coworkers. I say quote unquote because I was employed after I was a target individual, and so once you're employed as a target individual, their job is to break you down. I will go through. I'm the person in white. These people are this one up and one down. And every time I would talk about what I was talking about, they try to go through and say their scripts. They would say some foul stuff. One was like, "Oh, you pushed her hand, you used her hand." They try to talk about me as a kid and try to exaggerate that. They made me imagine the worst version of what I did as a kid. Mind you, this is a child. Like me, I'm talking about me as a child doing something stupid to me, and they have to exaggerate this because the reality of what they do is disturbing. I mean, we're talking about children being tortured sexually. There's another person under that. When I was interviewing this person, she was interviewing me. She brought a child so they can do the perfect torture. In the midst of my interview, she was so desperate, not even desperate, she was willing to use her little baby to do these disgusting things to me. People like that are the foulest human beings. There's one thing to involve yourself in that, but when you involve children and your children, it shows what bottom feeders they are, because they want you to look at these children and force you to experience the nasty things this technology is renowned to be doing. If they ever forget that I know they do the perfect type of torture, listen to this right after I'm done. These coworkers have tried to play the psyop of this like strong, like fierce women, like as if gender is what's gonna stop this entities that run this thing. It's like, oh, they can't have a bunch of women doing this to other people. There's literally women saying there's a lot of females doing this to people, to women. What kind of woman? You're not a real woman. You go listen to that. But for me, they think this psyop makes sense. Oh, we're so women, fierce, radical, progressive. No, you're not. You are a coward, opportunist, low-life trash who is involved in a program that is doing so much horrible things to women and children and have used the tactics of pedophilia to torment people. And you're trying to make me think about me as a child and exaggerate what I actually did to myself to create your fantasy of reality, when I know that these people torture children using directed energy toward children, and even involve their children or even children as of right now to try to distract reality. The second you know children are actually involved in whatever program you're involved to do some harmful things, you know you're a foul human being. You know that at that point you sold your soul to pedophiles. Cowards too. Using kids to make noise campaign right now to interrupt me from calling out these people who are saying, "Oh, you use your hand, you push your hands," some stupid things that made me imagine. No, this is the exaggerated version you want from what I did as a child. But the reality is that you torture children sexually. Is that you do the pedophilia type of torture. You force men and women to experience these disgusting things. Whoever is going to torture me is not going to stop for the fact that this is what you guys do. They're like, we're at war. You are at war with countering reality. That's not being at war. You are in a human experimentation where even children are being tortured. Even women are being fried up. Children are being sexually tortured using this very sophisticated, this new school weapon. They tell me how I'm gonna be raped and they're gonna do this. Is like, listen, whatever horrible I'm gonna go through, I know it's gonna be bad. I don't want it. Of course, I don't want to be tortured. But if I had to choose, I have to choose between being part of this program that does these horrible things to people, or even try to counter reality in a program where this is what they do to people, where to the point where I want to escape from that reality. I want this person to be so tortured so I can forget that we torture women and children. What patheticness is that? I'd rather go get tortured and scream and yell and cry and die slow than be in a program where you are here torturing kids. How many women are screaming and yelling and crying because they're tortured? This trash, no. How many kids crying, suffering? This trash, I'm 100% aware of that. I know why I'm in this program. I know the reality of things. I'm not going to let them escape. But for them to escape, when I'm listening to what they do to children, you know how aggressive I get? When I hear these people, this low life, who have the audacity to try to talk about me as a kid and exaggerate what I did. To talk about, you push your hand. No, you made me imagine pushing the hand. I know. My memories is for you. But you know what you do to children? Yes, with your money. Because the way they try to disorient you and try to create a Psyop, it's like, no, we're different. We use our own money to do these things. As if it's like we use our part of the government to do this. No. This money that you're using, this technology that you're using, this resource that you're using, this expertise that you're using, this contracted individuals that you're using, do these horrible things to kids and to women. These repetitions and manipulations and wishful thoughts is just for them. Reality is this. I know you know I'm going to be tortured. You know my torture, but you don't know what's going to happen to them. Somebody was making fun. How's your prostate? It's like probably terrible. I'm sure the radiation is doing damage. How many breast cancer you think this thing caused, or whatever cancer, or cysts, or yeast, or handicapped women? I have pictures of the faces that they've been peeled out. You can't counter that with torture. That's not how life works. You can try. I'm going to scream. Watch. These people will still be here. Yeah, I'm being raped every day. Delusional trash. And so for these people involved in this, these people who involve kids in participate in this thing, and these entities, right? BuzzFeed article has shown that is a pattern of pedophilia in these agencies. Why is there so many pedophiles in these agencies, as you hear them say? Why, with all this background check and everything they do, why are they letting so many pedophiles in this agency? I wonder why. Is it good to have a bunch of pedophiles? Maybe the morality, the way, their ability to do things to children can help in this situation. But there's a reason why there's so many pedophiles in this agency. They know they're pedophiles and they let them, and they not even try to cover it up and hide it. They are here downloading child porn on the government devices. Well, they were trying to come up with the fantasy of, yeah, you got this thing for trash, retarded people. I call one Cookie Monster because he was like, oh, we got your cookie. We're going to see. I was like, coming up with a storyline. Now they're even trying to create a new one. They tell me they're going to implant the child porn in my computer. They do your nasty things. Whatever you do your nasty things. In my brain, they are trying to come up with all the fantasy and all the... It's so pathetic. But to all my target individuals, stay strong, because you have psyops of that nature. The psyops of people who are trying to show themselves as people that you should respect. We're talking about something completely different. Every time I make a point about something and they say something, they go into the script. Oh, you use her hand. What? And then it's like something else. A black girl. I don't know if the black girl was, but something like that. Oh, every time I say a point, they try to come up, and I'm not even catching what they're saying because I'm focusing on work. Then I look back, it's like, oh, that's what you were saying. I say, oh, TikTok. Oh, I was like, how they turn on the camera, TikTok, huh? And then talk about this fantasy of them. Okay. Delusional. It's like, you guys live off a reality that you think I'm going to subscribe to. I understand my torture is going to happen. I've humiliated you guys. I've shown you guys for what you guys really are. These ways you've put the things together. If I stop talking today, I've said everything I need to say. And that's why I'm speaking now. I read this. I'm speaking now, and I'm able to say what I need to say. And I've made thousands, almost 1,000 video now. Everything I needed to say has been said. All the manipulation, all the falsification, all this. Some of them is a repetition of the same thing. So okay, let them see a pattern of what they try to create. Psyop pattern. Oh, you see when you're a kid. Oh, please. Pedophilia type of torture patterns. Covering up for that patterns. You everything conditioning patterns. There's a lot of women patterns. There's a lot of women being tortured pattern. There's a lot of pedophiles in these agencies pattern. Why they are here using their children to make noise campaign? No, and like for them it's like, well, okay, get your benefit. You think people do what you do like this? Don't okay. It's like you're a preacher. I hear this kid sing hallelujah. This is like a 10-year-old kid. You'll see. I'll make a video about this kid. He's a hallelujah. This is a kid. I'm like, kid, one day you might need to pray for real, huh? And I'm listening to this article about a bunch of pedophiles. I'm like, hallelujah. You see, trash. But I need to say what I need to say before I go. I feel like when I go through whatever torture I'm going to go through, knowing that I've left whatever I need to leave, it's just something that I'll feel proud about. It's funny they try to bring up some things, they try to manipulate me to experience, but you gotta be strong and understand that justice will be done.
Manipulation of my mind and body and of the people around me, and sometimes numbers and other symbols used to threaten torture. This forces me to open my eyes even when I'm so sleep deprived. I experience frequently someone is electrocuting my genitals repeatedly. I also often see highly disturbing pornographic images and videos, including highly disturbing pedophilia type of images and videos when I close my eyes. It also her arm. She has also grabbed her crotch, saying, ow, and this was used to threaten me with severe sexual torture. One day I also observed her gasping for air a few times in the same way that I do when I am being more severely suffocated. The suffocation had been in a mild state for a while up until this point. Many of their torture methods are cyclical in severity. Right after I saw this child being suffocated, then I began to experience very extreme suffocation all day, every day, for about 2 months straight, and that's also when they made it worse when I eat. Then I also work with a 4-year-old little girl with Down syndrome, as well as her 5-year-old sister, who also has Down syndrome. I observed both of these girls suddenly grabbing their genitals in pain and verbalizing, ow. I observed this at least on 1 or 2 occasions for each of them during their separate sessions. In one session, they repeat certain phrases excessively, as I learned that repetition is a form of torture in and of itself.
Disgusting things. You saw where I was going with that first word. Somebody trying to end who I am as a person. It's somebody trying to take over my mind, putting thoughts of pedophiles. Like, this disgusting things. You saw where I was going with that first word. Disgusting things that I don't even want to talk about because it makes me sick. I don't even like those words in my mind. But it is what it is. So I have no choice now but to acknowledge that there are people in my surroundings or whatever they're doing. I don't know how they do it. I don't care. I don't know if it's through weapons. I don't know. I don't care. I just don't want it. I don't want it.
I've passed 2 psychological evaluations, not 1 but 2. The one physician said, you're mentally sound as a bell. He said, I don't have any idea what's going on with you. When I go to sleep, when I go to try to sleep, I feel like I'm being lit up like a Christmas tree. I feel every cell in my body just bouncing out of my body. I can't even that system. And when I told her what I was going through, all she could say was, "You're on your own." Well, I figured that out. If you would please, I urge you to pass this. I realize you can't enforce it, but if you would pass it, it might give other communities the courage to do the same thing and show our Defense Department we are not the enemy. We are not to be attacked. We are not terrorists. Most of us are defenseless women.
Yes. So I told them that I know what you were trying to do, and I started laughing. And then I said again out loud, "You'll never take my will, ASS." So just to show them that I meant what I said, I kept playing with my dog, and even though that attacks continue, I don't let them get me. Today, they continue with the programming of perversion, but this time they are aiming in the use. A people, better said young people, also children and homosexuals.
You're a worm until you're part of the team. And why would you want to break down the ego of that person? To rebuild it. So this gets into creating Manchurian candidates, split personality spies, and information couriers, people that will carry messages to other places without being aware that they're actually doing it. So you can imagine the misperception that is caused by this. And a lot of people, the targets when they're interviewed are tricked into believing evil aliens have abducted their brains, demons.
They're tricked.
Yes.
How are they tricked? Pardon this brief interruption, but I want to take a minute to talk about this incredible longevity genes. The downside is as we age, NAD declines. When I found out I could naturally increase my body's activation of sirtuins and naturally activate my...
And I've heard all the stories. One guy believed it was the V2K. So they'll say, we're the Russian government, we're the Chinese government, we're evil aliens, we're Satan's, satanic ritual abuse. And I've heard all the stories. One guy believed it was some 14-year-old kid with an Xbox that lived next door. The trickery really is under hypnosis that people will believe something other than a massive government could do this.
This disgusting thing. You saw where I was going with that first word. Somebody trying to end who I am as a person. It's somebody trying to take over my mind, putting thoughts of pedophiles. Like this disgusting thing. You saw where I was going with that first word. Disgusting things that I don't even want to talk about because it makes me sick. I don't even like those words in my mind. But it is what it is. So I have no choice now but to acknowledge that there are people in my surroundings or whatever they're doing. I don't know how they do it. I don't care. I don't know if it's through